Let me start with something uncomfortable. Low-status behavior is rarely chosen. It's learned, quietly, early, repeatedly. And by the time you notice it, it feels like personality. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't act low status because they lack ability. They act low status because their nervous system was trained to prioritize safety over presence. Let me explain. When you're young, survival depends on reading the room. You learn very quickly when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to shrink, when to soften your tone, when to avoid eye contact. Not because someone gave you a rule book, but because you felt consequences. Maybe you were interrupted often. Maybe strong opinions were punished. Maybe confidence was labeled arrogance. Maybe expressing anger created conflict. Maybe asking for attention created rejection. Your nervous system learned a pattern. Visibility equals risk. So it adapted. It became careful. Careful becomes quiet. Quiet becomes agreeable. Agreeable becomes invisible. And invisibility feels safe. Now here's the part most people miss. What feels like being polite is often being self-protective. What feels like being humble is often minimizing yourself to avoid friction. What feels like being easygoing is often fear of asserting boundaries. These behaviors don't feel strategic. They feel natural. That's because they were conditioned early. Now watch how this shows up later in life. You hesitate before speaking in meetings. You laugh off disrespect. You over-explain small decisions. You apologize when you didn't do anything wrong. You soften strong statements with uncertainty. I might be wrong, but this is probably stupid, but sorry, just a quick thought. That language isn't random. It's learned, and it signals something socially. I'm not a threat. Now here's the harsh reality. Social hierarchies form instantly. Before logic, before resumes, before credentials, tone, posture, pacing, reaction speed. All of it communicates status. If your early conditioning taught you to minimize yourself, that pattern continues automatically. You don't choose it. Your body executes it. Now here's something important. Low-status behavior isn't about wealth or position. It's about energy. Do you react quickly? Do you seek approval? Do you overcompensate? Do you rush to justify? Do you avoid tension at all costs? Those patterns are not personality flaws. They are protective strategies. But what protects you as a child limits you as an adult. Because adulthood rewards presence, and presence requires tolerance for discomfort. Here's where it gets deeper. Low-status conditioning wires you to scan for threat. You constantly monitor reactions. You adjust tone mid-sentence. You overthink after speaking. You replay conversations. That hyper-awareness feels like intelligence. It's not. It's vigilance. And vigilance drains power. Now, here's the shift strong people make. They don't try to become dominant. They retrain their nervous system. They practice holding eye contact slightly longer, speaking without filler apologies, pausing instead of rushing to respond, sitting still without shrinking posture. Small changes, but repeated consistently. Because status isn't declared, it's embodied, and embodiment is learned. Just like low-status behavior was learned early, high-status behavior can be learned deliberately. But it requires one thing most people avoid: discomfort. You will feel exposed at first. You will feel unnatural. You will feel slightly aggressive. That's not arrogance. That's your nervous system adjusting. Now listen carefully. Low-status behavior isn't your identity. It's old programming. Programming built to keep you safe in environments that no longer exist. If you never question it, it becomes permanent. If you retrain it, it becomes optional. And the moment your body stops shrinking before your mind decides to, your presence changes without you saying a word. This was why low-status behavior is learned early. Stay sharp.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.